Hey everyone, Sean Piers. Welcome to Quick Hits. I am your host, and I am the president and CEO of Dental Piers, Canada's longest established group purchasing organization for dentists in private practice in Canada, and also the Dental CEO Maker, helping you to run your business more effectively. And I'm being joined again by a very popular guest, Anne Genge, who I've had on Quick Hits before, but let's face it, what she brings to the table is something people are asking so many questions about. It was time to bring her back again. How are you doing today, Anne?
Great. It's always good to be here, Sean.
Well, welcome back. It's always great to have you. And, just to give people a little taste as to why it's so important to bring someone like Anne onto the mix here today, it's because when you are looking at the world of AI and cybersecurity, Anne is my go to person on this. And there's a reason for it. This is something that she has been involved in and has the credentials to back up everything that she says, whether it's her certificate in the world of AI and law from Queen's University, the fact that she is a certified information privacy professional, and also, I guess, recognized by the International Association of Privacy Professionals in the world of technology and dentistry. I mean, I think, wow, who else would you want to bring on? This is somebody that knows her stuff. So, Anne, thanks so much for being willing to share your time and your knowledge again.
Yeah, well, I've spent my whole career in dentistry, which is now 30 years, believe it or not. And I know I started when I was 15, right? That's what I say. But yeah, AI is really changing the game. And, whereas I've been talking about privacy and cybersecurity for a million years, and that's extremely important. But now we're embarking on bringing in this new tech that has a lot of huge ability to create value and streamlining in our practices. But there's also some things that we got to really pay attention to when we're choosing tools and implementing. So I'm glad to have this discussion with you today.
And it is a great discussion. It's a timely discussion. Last time we had you on, we talked a little bit about the fact that dentists are walking the floors on trade shows. The trade show season is upon us, and AI is going to be full front and center on the trade show floor with everyone blasting their signs and why theirs is the sexiest version of
Mm.
AI technology out there, and they need to come on board with it. And it's fun, it's exciting. I mean, let's face it, who doesn't like to nerd out with some of this stuff? But at the same time, it can get really easy to get caught up in all this glitz glamour excitement and make the wrong decisions about the direction you want to go. So I guess I gotta wonder, like, are dentists like really falling into the adopting AI because it just sounds exciting and they think they need to, or are they being more strategic about it? Or if not, what do they need to do to be more strategic?
Right. Well, of course, there's a very big difference between being innovative and being reactive, right? And I think that's a lot of what you work with under you're the CEO maker. And these types of decisions, they require this CEO thinking, clarity, establishing clarity before adoption. And being a good leader, being a CEO involves not just having goals, but those steps that are required to get there, right? So systems, processes, and people, right? If we kind of lean on the sort of Six Sigma leadership kind of thing. Um, so we start out and people come to me and they say they want to implement AI. They don't want to get left behind. But like you said, they're going to start walking the trade show floors, and they're going to be caught up in these high pressure sales tactics, a lot of shiny objects, um, and there's a lot of questions that are going to need to be thought through before they start.
I completely agree, and I really like that idea about like being that CEO. And I guess one of the first things to understand is you're the CEO of your practice. That doesn't make you the AI expert, nor should you try to be. But then, if that's the case, and the dentist is thinking, well, I really want to implement AI, where do they start? What's their first step?
Well, I'm sure when you work with people, a big part of your job is identifying these sticky parts, right, or sticky things, or things that aren't working, right? There's definitely in any practice room to improve. In some practices, there are some huge glaring areas that are problematic, and AI has the opportunity to solve many of them. But we need to be really thinking about what people want to have the AI, but they don't think first which task they need it to solve, right? So we need to be really thinking about defining that operational issue first, something that I'm sure you work through with people as well. And then really identifying what that solution looks like. What's that measurable outcome? Is it revenue? Is it efficiency? Is it time saved? Um, maybe it's reduced errors. Uh, maybe it's just reduced stress. Anything that we're doing in a repetitive way within the practice is definitely somewhere where we can make a huge operational difference, because AI really thrives on solving those repetitive things. It's automation. And then does this AI enhance a working system? Um, AI can enhance a system, but it can also dramatically expose a broken system, right? So I think the planning part has to have much more effort before people are signing up for these, monthly subscriptions for these different tools. And you yourself, I'm sure, have seen how that happens very easily.
Well, I mean, whether it's in our business or our personal lives, I mean, I think we're all reading the articles about how people wind up going through their phones one day and realizing, oh my God, how many subscriptions have I been paying for how long? And I haven't used it. I didn't know, I forgot it was there. That's a
Oh,
problem.
yeah, for sure. And I'll tell you what I've noticed just, year over year, and I'll be heading to the PDC next week, is that in one way, I want people to adopt, right? And I want them to do well with it, and I want to help them do that in a very safe way. But on the other hand, I'm sitting here thinking, like I one day was evaluating all the different tools that I use, and I realized, oh, if I buy this tool, it does all of those things. Right now, we're still in a phase where we've got this tool solves this tool solves this part, and then we have to connect them all together with something called APIs, which we can talk about at some point, which, really is that every connection creates a security vulnerability. I don't want to go there yet. But the main thing is, if we're adopting early, are we going to be stuck in these subscriptions where we're buying three tools to do something that if we just waited a year, now we could have had one that does all three. When you're in the early stages of any technology, that's always a risk, right? Is that. And then also going first, are you going to be the one that deals with all the bugs, right? So maybe be looking at tools that have came out right on the precipice of AI launching, that have been in the market for a couple of years first, and of course lean on your colleagues and your friends to find out how they've been doing with that certain tool. Um, but yeah, it's not easy. But when they have people like you and I to kind of hold the reins back and say, whoa, like let's make sure we have a good plan for this, we have much more successful outcomes.
You really touched upon something I find interesting too. And I think it is important, obviously, as you said, to lean on colleagues and the information that they've gleaned from their experiences. But of course, what's the quality of that information? What's the quality of data? Because a lot of the times, I mean, people are going to have this sort of a bias that, well, I don't want to come out and say I wasted my money. So of course I'm going to say, oh, it's
Uh,
been great. It's been great. But have they really measured what impact this investment has had? Because you touched upon the idea of thinking it through before you get there and planning out, okay, what's it going to fix for me? What do I need addressed? What's the task that I'm maybe falling a little bit short on that AI can fill in the gaps? And you buy something that's advertised that way, and maybe it helps, maybe it doesn't. Part of your planning process, of course, has to be an ongoing revisit of, okay, what difference is it making? How do I measure the differences? What's the experience? What is my team saying? Like bringing the
yeah,
team involved in this, because this is a big change for the team too, right? This is scary. I mean, this is a
yeah,
change, and when we change people's routines, that elicits this emotional response. And our solution or our answer to that to try to quell the fear is always a logical one. It'll improve efficiency, it'll improve accuracy, whatever.
Yeah.
But that's logic. That's not meeting the fear. So
Yeah.
how do we integrate them in a way that quells the fear a little bit and allows us to truly know that the team is participating in it and helping us get the data to measure the effectiveness of the tool we bought?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna back up the truck just for a second because I think you said something really important is that people who don't want to admit that they bought something that doesn't work. So I think you just reminded me of something is that, for example, on social media, people think that however many likes you got on something, that's kind of like the measure. It might just be 10 of your friends, right? And maybe they didn't even read your article, but they gave it a like. So
Don't
so
say
yeah,
that.
I definitely think that can happen. I'll tell you who is the keeper of the secrets, right? It's people like you and I. We know how these tools work in offices. And our position generally is to be unbiased. So we're not going to go around and say only use this and this. I mean, there are some people that get what do you call it, affiliate commissions and stuff like that. But at our leadership level, we don't do this, but we know what works and what doesn't work. We're also able to know what works in a 5-person practice may not be suitable for a 30-person practice that has 12 ops, right? So that's where people like you and I come in because we've been through this a million times with other people and we can help them distill their list down to what might be appropriate. That's the position and that's the responsibility of consultants like us is to make sure that people are staying within the guardrails of what will likely give them the most best outcome. And it's also for us a responsibility for us to slow them down so that they don't make money or lose money. There's no faster way to lose money and lose your mind than trying to implement something that wasn't planned for properly. There's a whole a bunch of people employed as change management specialists for a reason, right? So the planning is as much a part of it, and people like you are important to that process, and in trusted roles to make sure that those outcomes are good. And that also means helping the teams feel comfortable with what that change is going to be. It's not always going to be something that is noticeably better for them. But we all know that we get better outcomes when we include people in some of the process, right? So that's generally, I think, how people like you and I work and get those good outcomes. Um, no tool stands on its own without that thought process.
Wow, I almost feel like we've just rained on the AI parade a little bit here, but I think it's good to have these flags at least alerted in your mind because these are going to be real hurdles that you face and you have to think them through. And I'm really appreciating your time here, Anne, to kind of raise them and highlight them and let dentists know that by all means you need to explore the AI world. People are expecting us to go in that direction, and they can really make a difference in the practice, but you've got to do it with a plan. And I think that's the bottom line here.
Yeah, I think, if I could say one thing about what's going to happen over the next few weeks between now and the end of May, lots of conferences. If you're thinking about AI, think about the pain points you have in your practice first, and then seek solutions to solve them. Don't let someone else sell you something that, because they gave you a good demo, right? Is just sort of maybe look around and think, what are the things that are being done on a repetitive basis that could really create better efficiencies, which means higher profits, a better patient experience, um, and have that list and your questions about that before you hit the floor.
Love it. And really appreciate the insight. Thanks so much for being here and sharing your expertise and your knowledge. And, maybe people are going to want to bounce some questions off you in a little bit more detail before they're hitting that trade show floor. So if they're going to reach out to you, where are they going to find you?
Yeah, well, hopefully you can put my email address in the connection thing there, and it's just Anne at Mila.training. It's dot training instead of .com. Getting into the new era of web web suffixes.
I was going to say we always have to add new suffixes so that we can get more
Yeah,
email
yeah,
addresses and
yeah,
website addresses out there.
yeah,
Great to have you here, and looking forward to, maybe we can come back after the trade shows and see what the experience was, and explore further what people saw and the
hmm
directions that they may need to go. Great to have you.
Cool.
Appreciate your time, and hey, look forward to maybe running into you in Toronto.
For sure. Take
All
care.
right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us in this installment of Quick Hits. And we'll be back again. I can promise you that. And we'll also, who knows who our next mystery guest will be as well. But looking forward to being back. In the meantime, hope everyone is doing well. And we'll see you soon.